Good morning. Hello from Denmark. Doing a bit of a walking about thing this morning. Couldn't get the technology going. So I'm having to sort of navigate in between my kitchen and my living room. How are you all? Halfway through August now, aren't we? And we are halfway through working with the Ascension runes. Exciting, isn't it? Da, da, da. Oh, don't say that. Right. So, hold on a minute. Oh dear. Seem to be having a few problems with the technology this morning. My phone just switched itself off. Let me just see. Are we working? Are we working now? Hello? Hello? Yes. Yes, it's all working. I was 50 on Sunday. That's this is my 53 days. That's I'm having a power surge. That's what we like to tell ourselves, isn't it? Us New Agers, we like to sort of say, look on the bright side of things. I'm going to call in the runes. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to do anything else until the runes are here. Oh, I know what I am going to do. I'm going to go live on my Facebook. Da, da, da. Oh, there we go. There we go. Here we are. Am I straight-ish? I am going to sing the runes in Voris 3 times. I use the Elder Futhark runes. And just imagine that the runes are creating a circle of power around you. Okay, here we go. Say you can be free when your heart goes out. If your heart has your soul to your time, mother love doing, oh, God is pain. To that way you can be free when your heart goes out. If your heart has your soul to your time, mother love doing, oh, God is pain. To that say you can be through when your heart goes out. If your heart has your soul to your time, mother love doing, oh, God is pain. So I always think of it as a wall of runes, because they sort of go around in a circle and then they grow up like all around me, and it feels so powerful and so protective and so magical and healing. And when we sing the runes in like this around us in a wheel, we are singing all the different elements of the divine, of the cosmos. And so there's a wholeness in that circle. And of course, you know, all of us are moving towards wholeness and healing. And so when we sing the runes in, we're attracting a little bit more of that wholeness and healing towards us. If you want to learn how to do it, go to my Facebook page, Ascension Runes, and have a look on the left-hand side. You will see a YouTube heading. Click on there. That's my YouTube list on my Rachel Goodwin YouTube channel. And I teach you on there how to sing the circle of runes. So today we are working with Perthra. And interestingly enough, Perthra is halfway through the runes. So this is number 12 today. There's 24 runes in the Elder Futhark. And there's different ways of putting them in order. But the way that I've been taught to do it, Perthra sits at number 12. And that's interesting to me personally, because so I was 50 on Sunday and I went for a walk in the labyrinth last week. In the town where I live, in Roskilde in Denmark, we have down by the fjord, next to the Vikingskibs Museum, which is the Viking ship museum, they have recreated a labyrinth because the sailors would walk them before they went on their journeys, because of course in those days going sailing was quite a dangerous thing. A lot of people could lose their lives, and also they were going off fighting maybe or whatever. They would walk the labyrinth for good luck and also to get rid of any bad energies that they had. and to raise good winds, because if you didn't have good winds, you couldn't get where you were going and you were in big trouble. So that's not the only magic they were used for, but that's often why you found them like down by the waterfront. There was, I don't know if it's still there. There was one in Oslo as well, in Norway. And when I walked the labyrinth, so I walked the labyrinth with the intent last week of going to be my 50th birthday on Sunday. You know, do you want to tell me anything about that? Because I find walking the labyrinth very, very informative. It's like you go in there and you go into another dimension where information and healing and stuff comes to you much more easily. And as I walked the labyrinth, I found I was walking in like with a lot of intent and purpose, fairly fast. I mean, not incredibly, but there was a pace. I could feel there was a pace and there was a pressure. And then I got to the center and it was like, oh yeah, this is great, because I love being in the middle. And I could feel suddenly like I had walked towards the point where I was now in my life. This sort of 50th year birthday felt like a pivotal point, but it sort of felt like I'd got halfway through, even though I know mathematically that's not really correct, because most of us don't reach 100, but it felt like that regardless. And then as I walked out, I went more slowly, and I walked with more consciousness and more consideration for the fact that now it was like I was walking towards something when I came in, and I was walking away from it. So it felt like the second half of my life is now walking consciously towards the fact that one day I won't be here anymore, and that each day the energy should be carefully measured and considered of like, what am I going to do with this precious energy? So slightly different focus, but it's that midpoint thing, I suppose, that I'm finding interesting, because we have the midpoint here with Perthra, and I experienced that midpoint in the labyrinth walk last week for my birthday as well. So let me just have a little bit of water. Okay, so what we do every week is we work with a different rune. The rune are vast portals of power and healing and magic. And I have been learning how to work with them under the tutelage of Imelda Amquist, who is a shamanic practitioner in the UK and is originally from the Netherlands, so she's Dutch, and she has taught me in the group that I'm working with different ways of working with runes, but primarily that the way to connect to runes is to journey on them. So for a number of years before I did this course with Imelda, Save the Course, I was trying to learn about runes by reading books. Didn't work for me. The information went in one ear, out the other, and thoroughly confused me, because everybody says different things. However, if you journey with the runes and build your own relationship with them, then you can go on to read books, and it builds on top of the foundation that you have already made. But without that foundation, it's not very helpful. Wasn't for me anyway. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a journey with Perthra. After you've made a bit of a connection with it, I'll read out some information about it and also tell you what I got. I am journeying on these runes from the perspective of Ascension, like our evolutionary journey, Ascension journey that we're going through, humanity and the Earth at the moment. So you can do this in different ways. If you don't have a rune set, you can just draw it on your hand, draw it on a bit of paper, sit and hold it. You can breathe the rune shape in and out if you're quite visual. You can chant or say Perthra, Perthra. Perthra. It's Perthra. Okay. If I missed anything out there. Oh yeah, I mean the way I do it is I hold it in my hands and I just open up my energy body to accept the energy of the rune, and stuff happens. That's how it works for me. Or maybe you have your own way to do it. Whatever works for you. Okay. So I'm going to play a bit of drumming. Da, da. Hold on a minute. Da, 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 okay, here we go. See you on the other side. Okay, so hopefully you'll all come back. Turn those drums off. There we go. So if you have a room full of people that journey on a rune, it's quite likely that each one will have a slightly different experience, or a very different experience, because these are huge doorways of energies. And although there are sort of standardized meanings, although saying that, there's a lot of different systems with a lot of different standardized meanings, which is why it can get so confusing. But each person will kind of get what they need for that day. So yeah. So where am I? Perthra. Okay. So I am reading out from this book, which is Jörn Eriksson. He's a Swedish guy. And this is Rune Magic and Shamanism, this book. It's a really nice little book. You can order it off his website or off Amazon. And this is what he says about Perthra. This is the rune of earth, rock, and the mineral kingdom. It stands for shape and solidity. Perthra represents what is inside the earth: rock, stone, minerals, gems, and metals. It is also the rune of the beings that reside in the earth, the dwarves and the gnomes, and their magical power. In Nordic cosmology, the dwarves were considered as masters of smithery, so being smiths, refining and forging material that the earth holds in a raw and unwrought form. Perthra is thus a rune with considerable transforming qualities. It is a rune that represents the body and the ability to stand with both feet firmly on the ground, be inwardly balanced and stand firm as a rock. Its dark side is rigidity and poor contact with one's own body. Okay, so Perthra means lock up, which is like what you would put things in if you were a Norse person and like throw things on the ground to throw a lot, which means like casting the runes, or, you know, you were looking for the destiny and the patterns of things. So it also has like a big, strong overtone of destiny as well. It's also can be seen as like a womb. So there's a very sort of strong earth. It's not quite what I want to say, but I can't think better. It's sort of a strong earth goddess image with it like birthing down into the earth. If you look at the shape of it sort of that way, can sort of see, imagine like legs going like that as you're giving birth to something, but it's very, very earthy. So it's I've used it quite often for grounding people when I'm doing healing, or for grounding myself. When I worked with it today, quite interesting, I was getting this energy that I had. There's some caves in the southwest of England, Cheddar Gorge, and there was Celts that used to live there. And I went there years ago on holiday with my son and his dad, my eldest son Josh, and yeah, it's called Wookey Hole. Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, they've turned it into a bit of a sort of tourist attraction now, which is a bit, but regardless, the energy is just amazing. And when you go in there, sort of the further you get in, it's so dark and it's so deep. And the energy that I was getting, it was like I was back in Wookey Hole. And I can remember when I was in there and there's like water dripping, you hear the water dripping. I just longed for the tourist guide to bugger off and leave me so that I could just sit there and just like zen out on these energies. Honestly, it was just like such a depth of peace, but so earth goddess. You know, this is like the dark side of the goddess that is just like those of us who like those energies. We love it. We just love it, and we just want to stay there. And I could feel at the end of this journey, I could hear it, you know, doing the callback when it was getting faster. And I was like, oh no, leave me here, leave me here. I need to be in the darkness. You know, and this does also mean that it sort of has this meaning of cave as well in the womb. And yeah, I think that's what I was really getting to. And I've been reading Omram this week. Omram Mikhail Ivanhoff. He was a spiritual teacher from Bulgaria. Amazing books. Have a look at his books. But I was reading about how he was talking about how everything gets created in the darkness, and then the light is actually the product of the darkness, and it sort of uses up what has been created in the darkness. So then you need another cycle of darkness, so like more stuff can get created in it. And I guess that's it for me in the evolutionary and the ascension cycle. We need those periods of darkness, because people get a bit like, you know, the culture we're in at the moment, it's like, oh, it's all got to be light, it's all got to be light. And I say culture, I mean like the wider culture of Western civilization. We don't like periods of fall. We like growth. And it's like, no, you know, you've got to have this time of like Wookiee hole energy in the darkness, in the cave. It's lovely, just lovely. We can hear the water dripping, drip, drip, drip. I think that's it for me today. My latest project I'm developing is Sarah's Healing Circle. I work with an ascended master called Sarah, and she's the daughter of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. And if you want to have a look at it, there's a Facebook group called Sarah's Healing Circle. I'm just about to put up an event for the 6th of September where me and my dear friend Louise Kyogan are going to be doing a free monthly healing transmission on there once a month. Okay, so that's it from me today. Now I have to walk back into my living room and discontinue this, so you get a little view through my apartment again. Hope it's not too messy. Yeah, all my devices failed today. So normally I switch this off manually, but couldn't today because none of them would connect. Here we go. Back at my desk. Bye everybody. See you next week. Have a good day.